Hello everyone, my name is Jesse and this is the Auditorium where I react to video game music as a musician myself. Today is a Patreon Platinum request for Patrick. This is a Xenosaga. Song is called The Girl Who Closed Her Heart, composed by Yasunori Mitsuda, of course. Apparently the requester says that this is one of Mitsuda's favorite songs that he's composed. That's quite interesting, actually, and I'll say why in a second. I've only done Xenosaga, I think, once before, and I don't really remember what it sounded like, but I remember it sounded kind of slower, kind of like a ballad. I could be wrong. And again, I don't remember if it's connected indeed to the Xenoblade series. I think it might be. Anyways, it's been a long time since I've heard Xenosaga. I think this is my second time ever hearing it, so The Girl Who Closed Her Heart, kind of shorter, but I'm very interested because they said it's one of their favorite songs that they've composed. So let's check it out. I was getting nervous as the song was ending because it's just very short, and I was like, I don't really have much to say. I don't have a lot of notes. I don't always write notes, just key things that stick out to me. This one, I was just kind of drifting away, and I'm a huge fan of solo piano music, and also like even like lo-fi beats because it's usually just like piano and like a beat. So the good news is that like I really loved it, and like it's good and bad because the bad news is like I typically just kind of zone out and just listen to the music, and then I feel like I wouldn't truly decipher this until like my second or third listen. But since this is, you know, a reaction channel basically, and I'm telling you what like my first initial thing was, and just to keep it like genuine, it was just really beautiful, and it reminded me of two artists that I listen to quite frequently. That's Philip Wesley and Michelle McLaughlin, two solo pianists who write incredible stuff. And something about the piano is just so personal. First of all, the instrument itself is just like magnificent to me. It's this gigantic ivory thing with 88 keys, you know. And it's not as daunting as it seems. It's not like 88 different notes. It's just, you know, different octaves of... Anyways. But every time I see a piano player, always like lost, just as much as I was lost listening to it. They're always, you know, really, it's like almost like they're writing a book in like real time, or a story in real time. And how hard they hit the key, how soft, you know, there's a lot of dynamic playing. That's what dynamics means. It's like you can tell if they're just like ding, 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 dong, you know, like all that kind of stuff. So piano has a really expressive sound to it, and it sounds like someone's like true soul is like speaking out. It's pretty remarkable stuff. So that's what I kept thinking. I wasn't even thinking of like video games at all, you know? So I wasn't thinking of like a scenery, where this would play, who this is for, nothing. It was just, composer is just letting it out. And although I've heard a lot of Yasunori Mitsuda on this channel, I'm not sure what their realm of capabilities are. I don't know if they're a guitar player. I don't know if they're just strictly a composer, or if this is them playing. But this person has a lot of creativity inside of them. And I don't know, it's pretty remarkable stuff, to be totally honest. The only thing I can really get from it is the title, The Girl Who Closed Her Heart, right? It's a very specific title. So maybe like a main character, or maybe like a main antagonist. And obviously it sounds quite sad. You know, there wasn't a lot of joy or overcome type of sound. It was just more like drowning and just down. I'm not sure what Xenosaga is. Like, from what I recall, this is now the second one I've heard. And I do remember the first one being, I think it had vocals, but I also remember it being kind of like on the sadder side. So I don't know if this is kind of like a very like sad game. But it's, the reason I said I was confused if it's related to Xenoblade is because when I think Xenoblade, I'm thinking like hard rock and breakdowns and violins and just kind of like intense moods. Whereas Xenosaga, I feel like, you know, kind of how I felt during like Nier Replicant, kind of just more like on the droney, sad side. It did remind me of one little thing, and I think I think it's just because it's currently happening right now. It's you know, it's like Christmas season, and it kind of sounded like a Christmas song to me a little bit. Like if I just closed my eyes and just like looked at Christmas lights and then just heard that music, it would kind of sound like that. Which kind of goes in hand with the song that I was going to say that it reminded me of from the artist I said earlier, Michelle McLaughlin. There's a song called Winter that she has, and it has kind of this kind of same mood set to it. There's something really special about songs. If it's true, I'm sure it is, but like, you know, I would like to see where they said this, where it's one of their favorite things that they've made. That's kind of an odd statement. It's kind of a bold statement as well. Like if you ask any artist what their favorite thing is that they've made, you know, you're probably going to hear the same responses. Oh, it's like choosing my favorite kid or something, which is true. It's like, how do you choose your favorite piece that you made? Each piece has its own place in your heart. But I think for the most part, each one of us know there's like that one that kind of sticks out. I have one too. And so I'm putting myself in that position, you know, if someone were to ask me what's my favorite, and I'd be like, okay, I know which one it is and why, because it's like a very specific moment in your life, very specific moment in your life, very specific memories. And it's kind of always brings you either comfort that going back to this time, or even like an elation that you've left this spot behind. So again, even though it's in a video game, I just kept thinking of like Mitsuda, like making this and trying to garner like what inspired this, or where did this come from? Because I haven't heard many songs like this from him. And it's just, I don't know, it's just kind of cool. You know, it's as an artist, I'm just trying to relate and hearing that. And to me, this was absolutely more musical than like, you know, I just was really never thinking VGM, video games, electronic. I was just hearing someone's soul being like put out there. And it sounded like one take as well, like just like a live performance too. And it sounded good too. Like, it sounded like an actual decent studio recording. So I don't know when this was made. This was like in the CD quality of era, like PS1 onwards, but it definitely had that sound to it. But yeah, that's all I got. It was just a very beautiful piano piece, and it felt like someone was emotionally pulling something out. And I can see that being one of their favorites, if not their favorite songs they made, because it doesn't always have to be the most intricate, you know, it doesn't have to be roaring with notes. It can just be, it can be like a 10-second piece, you know. It's just as long as it reminds you of this one. They're like songs like this are like photographs, right? It's just snapshot, and you'll always go back to there. So I'm very curious, you know, if someone were to interview him now, maybe one day I'll get the opportunity to interview him, and I'll just be like, I'll play like the first 4 notes of this song and just see how their face reacts. That kind of thing. You know, it says a lot. They don't have to say anything. I'll just be like, oh, or something like that. I'm very curious about those kind of things. I think about all those things. So I got all of that from that song, you know. Now, just to kind of wrap up here, I know this is from a game, and I'm very curious as to what this is in the game, but I have zero clue. I don't even have guesses. But the title is very intriguing. The Girl Who Closed Her Heart. You know, it brings a lot of curiosity to me. But let me know more about Xenosaga. Let me know about this song. Is it an ending song? Is it a credit song? Is it, you know, whatever. But it seems like this game has kind of like a little cult following, but it's not too popular. So I don't know. It's just kind of like this kind of fly on the wall game. But, you know, all I know is that the Xeno family of video games have great music. And Yasunori Mitsuda, who also, last thing I should say, before I even started the series on this channel, I had no idea who that was, and has become one of my favorite composers. A huge catalog and variety of sounds. Yeah. Icon. I don't know if they're still going or not, but either way, icon. Anywho, that is The Girl Who Closed Her Heart. Go check out that song I mentioned earlier. It's called Winter. And let me know if that gives you any same vibes. Oh, also one more thing. Last thing is I did write one thing. Is the whole OST slow like this? Is it kind of like on this like slower, sadder side, or there are like some songs that have a little bit more energetic feel, or, you know, drums, something like that? I'm just curious. Anyway, if you want to make a request to me, you can do so on Patreon or PayPal. Either are totally fine. If you do not mind waiting, the wait list is quite long. There is the platinum tier on Patreon, which I provide, and that skips the line, basically. A big thank you to current supporters of that tier: Justin, Kevin, Patrick, Your Average Metalhead, Shadow Maxim, Vanadel, Turn Arclight, and Kalinin. Thank you all so much. Thank you to my other supporters that you see here. Thank to my PayPal donators. Thanks to everyone who just watches. I really appreciate it. So until next time, dudes and dudettes, happy holidays. My name is Jesse. Take it easy.